Today let's solve questions related to physics in 2019 Telangana ESET question paper. So what's the first question? The dimensional formula for a gravitational constant is, the general formula is force is equal to gravitational constant into mass of two bodies divided by the distance square. So if I rearrange the formula, it will be gravitational constant is simply nothing but force into r square divided by m1 into m2. Now here the student has to remember what is the dimensional formula of force. It is simply ml t power minus 2, and since r is a distance, it is length, and now we have two masses, so the dimensional formula is mass. So this gets cancelled and I'll be getting a term m inverse L cube into t power minus 2. Now this is your answer. So you have to remember this particular formula. Next, the dimensions of the quantities in which of the following pairs are same. So if you observe, what is torque? Torque is the turning effect of force and is a vector quantity. Also remember, it depends on the magnitude of the force and its perpendicular distance from the line of action. So what is the formula? Tau is equal to force, it is a vector, and distance. Now what is the formula of work done? So work done is basically the dot product of force and displacement vectors. So work done is simply force into distance. As this is a scalar, we will be having f into s into cos theta. Now what is the dimensional formula of torque? It is simply ml t power minus 2 into L, and even in work it will be having ml t power minus 2 into L. So thus both torque and dimension formula of work are same. You can, this is your homework for light year and wavelength. Also you have a similar concept. Next, which of the following is not correct, which means the others are correct? So basically the cross product of the same vector I cross I is equal to 0, j cross j is equal to 0, and k cross k is equal to 0. Now multiplying in the same direction gives a positive sign, and multiplying in a opposite direction will be giving a negative sign. Now j cross I, its value is minus k, and k cross j, its value is minus I, and I cross k is minus j. So if you observe all the options, this doesn't fit into this notation. So generally if I say I and if I have j, so if it is clockwise, I'll be having a particular notation. Okay, I, j and k. Next, now here we have to remember the definition of a unit vector. What is a unit vector? So a unit vector is something whose magnitude is equal to 1. So what is the value of magnitude? It is the square of the values of this. So here the coefficient of I 0.5 square plus coefficient of j 0.8 square and coefficient of k c square. This is the magnitude and it is equal to 1. Now if you square on both sides, you will be getting 0.5 square is 0.25, 0.8 square is 0.64, plus c square is equal to 1. Now c square will be simply 1 minus the sum of this is 0.89. So I can write c is equal to root 0.11. You see the options, this is the correct option. Next, which of the following is correct? So if you observe, only this is correct. Now basically dot product, it obeys distributive law. So AB will be equal to BA. So this is not there. So as dot product also obeys commutative law, and if you remember the dot product, a into b is mod a into mod b into cos theta. So there is nothing like this. So generally this is equal, so this is also not the right thing. So this is your answer. Next, the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of earth is given by, so the acceleration due to gravity is given by the formula by equating the force mg m2 into g equal to the gravitational force into m1 into m2 by r square. So you have, since mass term, so you have g is equal to gm by r square. So this is your answer. Next, so the value of g is maximum at which location? Remember, if this is earth, so the value of earth, the value of gravitational constant will be, so weight is equal to m into g. So remember, your weight will be minimum at equator and maximum at poles. Try to remember this. You have good set of questions framed on it. So as earth is not a perfect square, the gravity keeps on changing as we move from one place to another. Now earth's gravity, also remember, it is maximum at nearest point to center. Now earth's gravity is maximum at poles because earth is a kind of an ellipse, not a perfect sphere, and the equator is further away from the center of mass. So you can simply remember it is maximum at poles and minimum at equator. Next, so coming back to the next question. So when the speed of rotation of earth increases, what is the effect on your weight? So the value of gravitation at any point on earth is given by g dash is equal to g minus omega square into cos phi. Here, if this phi is equal to 0, now g dash will be simply g minus omega square into r. Now if you observe this formula, as omega will be increasing, gravity will be decreasing. So if you apply the same concept, so as the speed, omega represents the speed at which you are moving. So if it increases, automatically the weight will be decreasing. Next, the value of g is 0 at which point? Now generally at the center of earth, the force due to upper half of the earth will cancel the force due to lower half. Now in a similar manner, force due to the portion of earth at the center will be cancelled due to the portion opposite to it. So thus the gravitational force at the center on any body will be equal to 0. So from Newton's law, we know F is equal to m into g. Since mass of an object can never be equal to 0, so therefore force is equal to 0 only when g is equal to 0. So thus if you observe your force, the g, when it is 0 only, this happens at when your mass, when you are at the center of the earth. Okay, so here it is not this is a preferable answer. Next, if the linear momentum is increased by 50%, the kinetic energy will be increased by which level? So if you remember linear momentum, so it is simply m into v, and your kinetic energy will be half mv square So if you observe, if I multiply with an m and in the numerator and denominator, I can write this as half m into v whole square divided by m. Now what is this momentum? I can write this as half p square by m, or I can write my kinetic energy k is equal to p square by 2m. Now what is given in the question is, here you have your linear momentum increased by 50%. So in this case, your P2 will be 150 by 100, or it is 1.5 times your initial P or P0. So P2 is simply 1.5 into P0. Now, if you see the kinetic energy in the second case, it will be P square by 2m, or 1.5 into P0 square by 2m. So this will be 2.25 into P by P0 by 2m. Now, what is the increase in the kinetic energy? It is simply k dash minus k, which is 2.25 into P0, or simply P, minus 1 into P0. So this will be 1.25 times increase. So the answer is 125. So let's go to question number 61. So metallic block slides down on a smooth inclined plane when released from the top, while the other falls freely from the same point. Then, so basically free falling body will reach the ground first because it has to travel less distance compared, and it will be it will also be having greater acceleration. So both the blocks will reach the ground with same speed because the potential energy of both decrease by the same amount, which gets converted into kinetic energy. Next, a long spring is stretched by 2 centimeters and its potential energy is U. If the spring is stretched by 10 centimeters, what is the potential energy stored in it? So the potential energy of a stretched string is given by formula half kx square. So here k is your spring constant and x is your stretched string. So in case 1, you will be having u is equal to half into k into u. So if the string is stretched by 10 centimeters, so the energy will be u is equal to half into k into 10 square, or u dash is equal to 50k. Now, what is the basic value of potential energy? U is equal to half k into u. Now u dash by u is simply 50k divided by 2k, because in this case u is 2 centimeter, because you have half, or simply half into k into 2 square. Okay, so here it is 25 times u dash is 25 times u. Next, so the two masses of 1 gram and 4 gram are moving with equal kinetic energies. The ratio of magnitudes of linear momentum. So in case first one mass is 1 gram and second case m2 is 4 grams. Now half mv square is your kinetic energy, it is equal v1 square. So in the second mass it is half m2 into v2 square. Now we remember the linear momentum formula is p is equal to m into v. So if I try to multiply with an m, 1 by 2 m1, I'll be getting m1 v1 whole square is equal to 1 by 2 m2 into m2 v2 whole square. So simply I can write 1 by 2 m1 into p1 square is equal to 1 by 2 m2 is into p2 square. Now if I rearrange the terms, p1 by p2 will be something under root 2 m1 by 2 m2, or it will be root m1 by m2. Now what is given in the question? m1 is given as 1 and m2 is given as 4. The answer is 1 is to 2, 1 by 2 or 1 is to 2. Next, a body is dropped from a rest at a height of 0.5 meters. Now what is the velocity with which it strikes the ground? Since now remember the Newton's third law or the third equation of motion, in which we have a formula v square minus u square is equal to 2gh, and here h is given as 0.5 meters, and since it is a free falling body, you have initial velocity 0, so v square is equal to 2gh. Now v is equal to root 2gh, or root 2 into g is 9.8 and h is 0.5. It is simply root 2 into 0.5 is 1, so root 9.8 meters per second. Next, a particle moves such that its acceleration a is given by a is equal to minus bx, where x is displacement from equilibrium and b is constant. Now here in this case, what is the period of oscillation? Now this question has a discrepancy, so we are giving up this question and we'll go to the next question. So a particle is vibrating in simple harmonic motion with amplitude of 4 centimeters. This is amplitude. At what displacement from the equilibrium position its energy is half potential of half kinetic. So the condition is the total energy is given by kinetic energy plus potential energy. Now the condition in the question is K is equal to P, kinetic energy is equal to potential energy. So half m w square into a square minus x square is equal to half m w square into x square. So here if I cancel all the terms, I will be getting a square minus x square is equal to x square, or 2x square is equal to a square, or x is equal to plus or minus a by root 2. Now a is given as 4. If I substitute x is equal to plus or 4 by root 2, or if I rationalize it, I will be left with x is equal to plus or minus 2 root 2. So let's go to the next question. So when a star approaches the earth, the waves are shifted towards blue end. So redshift takes place when the star moves from the earth, and redshift basically occurs due to Doppler effect formed in light. So the apparent frequency of light is decreased when the source is going away from observer. Now basically blue shift will occur when the source is moving towards observer. Try to remember this. If it is moving away, it will be red, and if it is moving towards, it is blue. So the next, if a tuning fork of frequency 90 is sounded and moved towards an observer with a velocity equal to 1/10 of the velocity of sound, then the note heard will be, so we given Vs is equal to V by 10, 1/10. So we have the formula of apparent frequency, f dash is equal to f into V by V minus Vs. So here f dash is simply, f is 90, so V by V minus V by 10. So this is simply 90 into V divided by 1 by 9, 10 into 10 minus 1, which is 9 divided by 10 into V. So I will be getting f dash is equal to 100 hertz. Next, which of the following is an important factor to recognize a person by his voice? So basically timbre and pitch are the characteristics of sound that make it possible to identify a person with by his voice without seeing him. So I can call it timbre and pitch. However, it is given in this case as quality, but I go with timbre and pitch. Next, the quality of a tone. So basically the quality of a tone depends primarily upon the waveform of sound, and the waveform of sound is emitted by a tuning fork is the simplest sine curve. But most bodies vibrate in a very complex manner. Besides the fundamental frequency f, they consist of additional frequencies 2f, 3f, multiples of frequency. So these additional tones are basically called harmonics, and according to Helmholtz equation, the quality is determined by the number of relative frequencies and intensity of component simple tones which a complex vibration is composed of. So if you observe all the options, this option matches to our understanding. Next, so the conduction of heat from a hot body to a cold body is an example of irreversible process. Next, from the isothermal drawn from Anders experiment, it can be inferred. So in this Anders experiment, so from this Anders experiment and the isothermal drawn, there is a continuity of state. Next, a diesel cycle works on, basically during a diesel cycle, work is done by the gas by the piston between state 1 and state 2. It is basically an isentropic compression, and work done by gas on the piston between the stages 2 and 3 and stages 2 and 4 are a part of isobaric and isentropic expansion. So here remember you will be having constant pressure. So simply if you remember your volume and pressure, they are inversely proportional like this. So the work will be isentropic in this case. Next, the transition temperature of most low temperature superconducting element is in the range of, so superconductivity, if you remember, it has a transition range of 1K to 10K. Of the chemical elements, tungsten has the lowest transition temperature, which is 0.015 Kelvin. So niobium will be having the highest temperature, which is 9.2 Kelvin. So here the answer is this. Coming to the last question, propagation of light through a fiber core is due to total internal reflection, TIR. So propagation of light through an optical fiber is due to total internal reflection taking place in the interface between cable and air. In such a case, the refractive index of the cable is such that the light always undergoes total internal reflection. So refractive index of the material of the cable of the optical fiber is greater than that of air. This is a condition. With this, we complete the questions related to physics in this particular question paper.